Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 109-105. The Lakers did not get a victory tonight. We are 3-1, and I'm salty. I'm salty for a couple reasons, but none more than I just thought that last play where Anthony Davis went up for a layup and got hit in the head and they didn't whistle it, I thought that might have sealed the game against us, and I'm not pleased with that particular call. That's not why we lost, but it did seal the loss. And I don't know, man. I just... I'm a fan, right? So, as a child, this is me running around telling you guys the ref cost us the game. Okay? But I'm a grown man, so I'm not going to say the refs cost us the game. But what I will say is it sure felt like they were leaning toward Phoenix. They felt that way. But you got to give credit to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I think Kevin Durant walked away with 30 points. I think Devin Booker had 33. They were tired of losing to the Lakers. I understand what point of view they're coming from. They believe in their talents and they put their heads down and just dug in and got the victory for their squad. 15 points chipped in by Bradley Beal, so you got to give them their credit. That's what needs to be done there. I'm very salty. I ain't gonna lie. That one was a very difficult game to lose for me. Just watching the first quarter and enjoying the fact that we had a 34-point first quarter and really went to work. Looked great, fantastic. Brought our bench in, struggled. 14-point second quarter, I believe it was, or something like that. It wasn't pretty at all. And then it was just like a back and forth game in the second half. And I thought we had some bad miscues here and there, but you got to give credit to our Lakers who played well. Rui Hachimura, 20 and 10. I love how he's offensive rebounding. I'm sure he'd love to have a few of those putbacks back. A couple of things that didn't go his way. But all in all, I thought Rui continued his fantastic play, and I feel great about picking him up in a bunch of fantasy teams. He's making me look smart for doing that. Austin Reeves, 23 points, 8 assists. I think it was 23 points, something like that. I don't remember how many assists he had. I'm getting it mixed up. I know Bron had 8 assists and D'Lo had 8 assists for sure. I don't remember how many Austin has, but I think he had like 23 points. Hit over 5 threes. I thought he was spectacular tonight. Probably should have got him the ball even more, and we talked about that at the halftime. But he was great tonight. Anthony Davis, of course, 29 points, 15 boards, 2 blocks. I don't remember how everything else went for him, but he could have had more points. I don't think we shot great from the line there. I thought maybe his usage should have been a little higher once we started really struggling in the third quarter. I thought we waited a little too long to put him in. So, like I said, we need him to score 30 points for us to win, and that's literally what it's become. He had 29 tonight. We didn't win. But he was awesome. He's still my favorite player to win MVP. If the season stopped today after 4 games, he's been phenomenal. Tonight was no exception. He's continued playing great. Man, we had a bad night from Bron. Let me just rip the Band-Aid off. Bron owes us one. I know the King was phenomenal in the last game, 16 straight points in the fourth quarter of the game against the Kings. So far be it from me to say Bron is done, Bron this, Bron. I'm not doing that. What I will say is Bron owes us. He owes us. He had 8 assists. We love those. But he only had 11 points tonight. I think it was like 3 out of 14 from the field. I thought, when they checked Jusuf Nurkic in the game at the end, and we were down 3, and they fouled us with like 7 seconds to go. Bron hit the first free throw. When they checked Nurkic in the game, I just felt like, it'd probably be smart. I know we don't have any timeouts left, but it'd probably be in our best interest to just make both free throws. Because I don't think we have a great shot at getting the board here. And sure enough, Bron forced the fake free throw. It went off the front of the rim, but it fell right in Nurkic's hands. And it was just like, damn, it was almost like I had a premonition that was going to happen. As soon as I saw them check him in, I'm like, no, we need to shoot and hit both of them and try to force them to make free throws after a foul. And then just try to inbound the ball, see if we can get a heave or something. Because once they got that board off of his forced missed free throw, I knew the game was over then. It was over. Bradley Beal hit 2. Devin Booker did rather hit 2 free throws, and that was it. So, that play is kind of playing back in my mind. I just don't think that was the greatest way for us to try to play that situation. I thought Budenholzer did a great job coaching tonight. He just weathered the storm a lot. And I thought he handled that situation well. You're down 3. You do not want a team to get a 3 off. I thought we should have tried to rush the 3. It looked like Bron was trying to attempt the 3, but they got the foul off before he attempted. I felt like that should have been something we anticipated. I don't know what we could have done, but we had to try to get a 3 off before they could get the foul. So, it was just little stuff like that kind of plays back in my mind right now. But we had a rough night from Jackson Hayes. This was one of those games you wish you could sit him, but you needed him because we don't have another center. So he was a -16, bunch of fouls. It was a terrible Jackson Hayes night. He really has been playing pretty good throughout the course of the first 3 games of this season. So I don't want to, again, just like Bron, I don't want to crap all over guys when they have a bad game. But this was a bad game. That was a bad game for Jackson Hayes, in my opinion. Dalton Connect, 1 rebound, 0 for 2. Bad Dalton game. And it was more so about him not taking the shots he should have took, and then he only attempted 2 shots. Both of them were not very good. He clanked a 3 off the back iron. I just felt like if he would have given us really anything, we probably won this game. It was a lot of stuff. I'm gonna be honest. Phoenix definitely won the game, and kudos to them for fighting through the first quarter 18-point lead that we had. But there's certain things that if you play this game 100 times, you're not going to see some of the crap you saw tonight. Bron going 3 for 14, barely having 11 points, and he barely got that. He hit a 3 with like 2 minutes to go that got him over the 10-point mark. It was something that you're not going to see very often. Dalton Connect barely attempting 2 shots. You're probably not going to see that very often anymore. Those are things I don't expect to see that too often. So, yeah, man, we really needed something out of both of those guys. Scoring is a big part of what we got going on. Dalton Connect and LeBron James have to contribute more than 11 points between the 2 of them for this unit to win games, in my opinion. That's just not enough help, man. I love that we had 3 players who had 20 or more points in Austin, Rui, and, of course, AD. But if Bron and Dalton are not going to contribute to any scoring, probably not going to win the game. So that's where I look at those 2 and say, all right, man, come on. What the hell are we doing? Seriously. That's not the type of quality I expect from either one of those individuals. So, yeah, that's what comes to mind. I would love to say it was better than that, but it wasn't, man. We couldn't get a whole lot from our bench. Gabe Vincent, not too much going on there. Yeah, like I said, Jackson Hayes, not too much going on there. Max Christie, I don't even remember seeing him check in the second half. I don't think Coach really went to him in the second half. But like I said, we're just going to have to work through his development process. It's just, we're a worse team with him on the floor right now. And that's just what it is. He has good strengths and things that he can do that really are going to help us. And we're going to have to just fight through this process while he gets used to being a regular rotational player. That's just what it is. We got to respect his development. And, I'm not saying demote him or anything like that, but, we're going to have to go through probably a couple of months of just not positive max minutes. And by the end of the season, I'm pretty sure he'll be good for us. He'll work some of these kinks out. But right now, we're in the dark days of his development, and we talk about it a lot, but it is what it is. So, yeah, man, I just felt like our bench really glared in a negative way tonight. And if you're not going to get nothing out of the King, then you're in trouble. And so it sucks because we had great performances from those 3 that really played well. I thought Rui, Austin, and AD were fantastic. They came to play. They did enough to where if everybody else holds up their end of the bargain, we win, that kind of thing. That's what I really think. If those 3 didn't have the help they needed, where's the help, Bron? Where's the help for the rest of the team? Where y'all at? I ain't seeing the production where I needed to see it. And so everybody's due a bad game, especially a guy like LeBron James who's played more minutes, played more years than anybody who's ever played the game, done more to drag a team to success. just came off one of his most fantastic quarters just in the last game. He's due an opportunity to have a bad game without hearing people boo the hell out of him or call him this or that. I'm not going to do that. He just owes me one. This was a bad Bron game, and I need him to play better in response to this. And I have the utmost confidence that he will. Utmost confidence. So that's my take on that, man. I'm not here to beat up Bron tonight. I have too much respect for what he's already done to be disrespectful when he has an off night. But this was a very, very off night for the King. It was bad. And it wasn't just missed shots. It was some bad decision making in some cases. I just didn't think it was great. And that doesn't really include what we chose to do down the stretch of that game with the free throw. I don't think that was a bad decision. I thought that was a coaching decision that he executed, or a philosophical execution that just didn't fall in our direction. Maybe I would have went in a different direction, but I don't think that was a mistake or a bad decision. It's just one that just didn't work this time. But there were some bad decisions, some miscues, some turnovers. And, we didn't get the whistle. I thought there were a couple times where we were chasing the whistle and the referees just did not reward us. I'm gonna say that I felt like the officials really did lean toward Phoenix tonight. Maybe they just sick of us winning. That's the vibes I was getting. The officials just wanted Phoenix to win tonight. I really believe that. And it's not that I think they were cheating us. It's just that in key moments, when it could have went one way or another, they made sure it went the Phoenix way. So if you want to call that cheating us, fair. If that's what you're saying, I'm saying. But that's not necessarily what I'm saying. It's just that some people, you go into certain games and you have certain biases. You know, the Phoenix is working hard. They're pushing the envelope. The crowd is going wild for them. You got KD going off. You got Booker going off. You got the Lakers 3-0. I just think sometimes biases really do get in the way of the professionalism, and sometimes the officials, I think they just lean into one team or another in some cases. And tonight, that's what this felt like to me. It felt like they were leaning into Phoenix and just not necessarily leaning toward us. And it's unfortunate because I thought some of the things that we should have received in terms of calls just didn't come our way. So that's how I felt about this game. I'd love to hear what other people have to say. I know it's going to be a lot of Bron bashing tonight. I have no doubt about that. This was one of the worst nights he's had. Even though the 8 assists were solid, he had 8 assists. He definitely played over 30-something minutes, so he definitely played. And, for him, you're happy that he gave you an even played. You know what I mean? So in this stage of his career, he can load manage any point he wants to. Nobody will say anything. So he gave it his all. I don't think he cheated us in effort. I saw him constantly driving at the rim. He just wasn't able to get nothing going. It was about as bad as any game he's ever had. Really, I think it was. So yeah, that's kind of the story, to be honest with y'all. If I'm gonna give the game ball to anybody, it'd be Kevin Durant. I just thought he was phenomenal down the stretch of that game, hitting all the, he took the game over in the end, taking advantage of mismatches and stuff like that. I thought our defensive principles against Kevin Durant down the stretch of the game could have been a little better. Maybe our game plan against KD could have been a little better. I thought he was isolated on a few smaller guys with a lot of help coming his way, and the help wasn't efficient. They were able to pass out of that help and find open men and stuff like that. So give credit to Phoenix for kind of looking at what we were doing and just working the ball around. And I'll say something else too. I think when you schedule a team to play the same team over and over again, eventually things get figured out. And I guess the word blame would go to the schedule makers, but they could care less either team wins or not. But I would just say that if Phoenix wouldn't have seen us over the last 2 weeks 4 times, I don't know that they have as good of a game plan going up against us as it seemed they had tonight. So that's really what I had to say. I just, you know what I mean? They figured some things out. They played us a certain way. And I still think they lose this game most nights because I don't think you're going to have this difficult of a time getting points out of Bron. I don't think so. And I'm very encouraged by the fact that we almost won this game because it speaks to guys being able to take on heavier loads when others aren't really getting it done. So that's the positive I took out of this. I can trust Rui and Austin to play a bit heavier, take on heavier loads On a night when Bron only has 11 points, we still have an opportunity to win. And AD only had 29 points. They held up 40 points of scoring. That's not something I could count on in the past. So I'm very encouraged by that. Yeah, man. As far as stats and stuff like that, it's a little foggy for me. I honestly don't remember most of the stats. I think we had like maybe 14 turnovers, something like that. Shot pretty well for the most part. I don't think we had a bad shooting night from behind the arc. But again, the stats, they're really foggy tonight. I'm just a little salty more so than able to run off the numbers like I normally am able to. Tough loss. Yeah, man, that's really what it comes down to. I'm a bit frustrated with that one, but it's not throw your phone frustrated. It's not like I'm just mad at people. It's just that you get used to winning. You go on a 3-game winning streak. You like seeing yourself at the top of the West, and you're not ready to relinquish that. That's how I feel right now. I wasn't ready to relinquish that top of the West thing. Yeah, man, but that's how sensitive it is when you are at the start of the season and it's only been a couple games. So we have work to do. I thought this game was hard fought. I thought Phoenix just wanted it a little more, and the officials wanted it for Phoenix a bit more, and that's where we ultimately weren't able to really overcome that, man. But the first quarter, we looked fantastic. You got to give credit to the team in the first quarter. They looked like they were NBA championship-worthy basketball players in that first quarter, man. And to lose that game, we know that's kind of how these things have been going with Phoenix. You know what I mean? The last game, Phoenix looked like that. They came out like gangbusters against us, took a 22-point lead, and we ended up taking it from them. So this game was like a reverse mirror type of situation there. So we do see Phoenix twice more, and we also have them in our division, from what I understand. From the NBA Cup, they may be in our division, so we may actually see them a lot more, even from what we were expecting. So I'm just not in love with how they scheduled this. We didn't need to see this team this many damn times in one season, man. That's a little much. Hopefully we don't see them in the playoffs, so we can kind of avoid ever having to deal with this type of crap. Well, we see the same team a million times. So yeah, man. Tough loss, Laker fans. This one was tough, bro. I'm not happy at all. I'm not angry. I'm just like deflated. I want to win every single basketball game when I think my team is good, especially going into a game where I know we had a big lead and we came out looking great. But we do have some weaknesses on this roster, and the Walker Kessler rumors are starting to heat up, and I don't think this game really gonna cool those down. Because as much as we've liked what we saw from Jackson Hayes throughout, this first 3 games, tonight was one of them games where you're like, man, he was unplayable. So that's the reality of it, man. I don't like relying upon Jackson Hayes too much. I love when he's playing well. He's a nice asset to have when he's playing well. But if he's the only line of defense you have when AD sits down, he's only your source of center position when AD sits down. If he has a night like this, it costs you the game. Literally. We could have withstood Bron's not playing well if he would have been able to hold up a bit better himself. So this is just as much on Jackson not playing as well as Bron not playing well, and Dalton Connect just not contributing at all. So yeah, we had some disappointing performances tonight, man. Gabe Vincent not there. Max Christie still going through the motions, and we didn't have other guys. That's pretty much the end of our bench right there. But I don't know, man. I think we have a lot to be pleased with too. I think we do. And you look at what Rui's been doing and how he's continuing to push along. Austin snapping out of his 3-point slump. AD still looking like an MVP. I mean, those are 3 things I can walk away from this game feeling really good about. But, Bron, I know he's taking a step backwards to allow AD to take over and kind of be the number one. It's a clear pecking order at this point. Bron is number 2. But I need him to not get that lost. as lost as he looked tonight in the offense, that needs to not be a problem for us. We need him to be much more involved than what he's been. And even though we had that great Sacramento game, this is starting to become a recurring theme where he's not scoring over 15 points. And so I look at J.J. Redick in a way to say, yeah, we want Bron to take steps back, but we don't want Bron to take this many steps back, because if he does, we're not a good team. So we got to figure out how to get Bron going. I like how everybody else is getting going, and I think some of what Bron is doing is taking steps back because Rui and Austin and these guys are taking steps forward. But he can't not have it going to this degree if we're going to expect to be successful. We got to find some kind of sweet medium there. And not last but not least is D'Lo. Like I said, stats are. I don't think I really looked at the stats with the intention to memorize them like I usually do because of frustration. And it's early in the season. I still got a lot of rust to shake off. But what I will say is I thought that D'Lo hit some big shots. I thought he took some bad shots. I thought he made some nice passes. I thought he played some valiant defense against Kevin Durant in situations, which he should have never been matched up on anyway. I thought his effort was pretty good tonight, running the floor. I think of a distinctive play where he ran the floor hard after turning the ball over and gave a tough foul to a guy like, I think it was Royce O'Neal. You know, I hadn't seen him sprint that hard ever. So I thought D'Lo's effort was good tonight. And I just think that we need more from him. You know, on a night where Bron doesn't have it going, can't get nothing out of some of the guys on the bench, you need D'Lo to contribute in a big way to accompany the other guys who are contributing in a big way to get you over the hump when both KD and Devin and Booker are going nuts. So, yeah, I didn't get enough from D'Lo. I like what I did get for the most part, but he did not step into a star-like role tonight. And I think he's in a position to do that. And I think that's what his minutes and his role should be. Just like Austin stepped in and took over at times, I think D'Lo needs to find a way to do that in a game like tonight, where Bron don't have it going. So, yeah, man, I just, take the good and the bad with D'Lo. We're trying here, you know what I mean? I think everybody's trying. I think D'Lo's trying. Everybody's trying. But tonight did not provide us a great deal to be encouraged by there. This is a night where we need that point guard. That guy who's going to be on the floor 30 minutes a night, he needs to be in the 20-point range, just like Austin and Rui. He has to be. So it's just tough. That's just not who D'Lo is, man. You're going to take the good and the bad with D'Lo. Some nights he's going to do a lot. Other nights he may not do a little, and he's comfortable with that. We are not. We are not, Laker Nation. So kudos to Dodger fans. They took a 3-0 lead in the World Series. One game away from them reaching their goal. Like I said, it's bittersweet for me because I grew up a Yankee fan, but I like the Dodgers a lot, so I'm just not watching that. Just wake me up when there's a champ. I'll be happy either way. But, yeah, at least Lakers, Dodger fans have that to celebrate because the Lakers did lose tonight. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. I'm going to listen to what others have to say. This game was a bit of a drag. It wasn't like some of last year's losses where you're pissed off and you got a bunch of things you just want to point out. I think the other team fought very hard. I thought the referees rewarded them quite a bit. And I thought we had a very, very bad game from LeBron James. So, salute the Kobe Minute. That's pretty much what I got to say. Off to Cleveland for the next one. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.